I would increase the job opportunity in District 2 by focusing on a long-term plan. We need a long-term plan. And focus on our small businesses, because we know that the small businesses are the backbone in our community and for our economy.
So we have to improve our transportation, and a lot of that has to do with the link system. We need to have more express buses, more buses on the road so that we can get the folks to work and back home in a timely manner.
We don't necessarily need new programs. We need to make sure that the programs that we have are being utilized.
Well, my plan is to bring those vocational and those higher learning areas into District 2 so that we can have individuals who are trained to do work and to do the jobs.
One thing that we have to first focus on is reducing the amount of crime. Companies will not come to this community if they know that there's a high rate of crime here.
Welcome to Probe. I'm your host, Carvel Monroe, and on this episode, I get to talk with Patricia Rumph, candidate for Orange County Commissioner in District 2. Well, I want you to sit back with me as we get into some wonderful conversation, learn as much as we can about the candidate, who happens to be a colleague of mine who I've known over the years. I hope to give you an opportunity to get to know a little bit more about Patricia Rumph. So join with me now as we sit and probe together.
Well, I'm Patricia Rumph, and I'm a native of Orange County, Florida. I grew up in the Washington Shores area. I was raised by a single mother. I'm the youngest of 4 siblings. And being the youngest of 4 siblings, I took on the role of serving all the time. I love to tell jokes. I also love being outdoors. I love gardening. I love exercising. I love everything about outdoors. When I'm sick and not feeling well, I prefer to go sit on the back porch in the sun and recuperate that way. I just love outdoors. Grew up in a Christian home, loved the Lord. I could recall going to school, Sunday school, walking to Sunday school Sunday mornings. There was a team of us walking to Sunday school. We would start at my house and we'll walk and stop to the next neighbor house and pick that group up and walk to the next neighbor house and pick that group up and walk on to Sunday school. But there were some challenges for me growing up as a child. I'm tall now. I wasn't as tall growing up, of course, but I felt like I was always towered over most of my classmates. So there was challenges there with my height. I did not know how to embrace my height at that time. So there was challenges there. There was challenges also. I felt that I was went through some rejection periods of my life. So, but I did not fit in quite well. But now, Carvel, as I look back over my life, I wasn't supposed to fit in. But I did not know that growing up. Everybody wants to fit in, wants to have classmates and play and fit in. I attended Orange County Public Schools from elementary, Washington Shores Elementary School, Carver Middle School, and Jones High School, and graduated from Boone High School. So in school, I knew I was a gifted child. I loved school. I was very competitive. I just talked with my a friend this morning about how competitive we both were growing up in a school. But I was also good in school too, Carvel, because we had great teachers, excellent teachers that made sure and cared if we learned. They taught to make us better. So I always loved school. So that's a little bit about my background.
Question: what's your leadership experience like? How long have you been involved in service? Join the conversation right now. #LeadNow.
I started out as a young mother, and by the time I had my 3rd child, that 3rd child was a challenging a child for me. So I had to regroup and think about, it wasn't so much of me, but it was put in my spirit that, Pat, since you cannot reach this child and you're having difficulty reaching this child, then there's other parents out there having difficulty reaching their children too. So I began to volunteer and become a mentor with Orange County Public Schools, and to begin to mentor other young ladies. And that's when my public service work really began. It spun from not being able to reach my 3rd child And from there, I began to volunteer with Orange County Affordable Boards, not Orange County Affordable Board, but I began to volunteer with one of Orange County Board, Family Service Board. And that particular board fostered to abused children that were removed from their household because they were abused, and the ages from 3 to 18, excuse me. So that's when my public service work really began, to reach out to others, because I was struggling. I figured other parents must be struggling too, so let me help someone.
Established in 1887, Eatonville is the first African American community to be incorporated in the United States, and it plays a very important role in this race for Orange County Commissioner, District 2.
There's a lot at stake. One, District 2, understand that District 2 cover a very diverse area. District 2 boundary starts at North Silver Star. It extends north to Apopka. It goes all the way to the Wakawa Springs in Apopka. Then it swings around to Zellwood, Plymouth, Ocoee. And the east boundary is Eatonville. So within those 100,000 citizens and residents there's a diverse population. We have a huge population of the Caribbean population, our Hispanic population, and the African American population, and of course our white Caucasian population. So what is at stake there is that we need a representation there that can speak to the all-inclusive need of the population in District 2. And that's what's needed, and that's what is at stake there. If we don't get anyone to speak to the all-inclusive need of the diverse population that District 2 has recently embraced, then we're missing an important part there.
And if you don't mind me adding this, I mean, what makes you the one for the job?
What makes me the one for the job is that all my life, I'm a native from Orange County. So all my life has been connected throughout the communities, throughout Orange counties. Growing as a child, attending Sunday school. And so in addition to my life being connected to the communities, right now I'm a probation officer. So one of my duties as a probation officer is to travel through the community and verify residents. So as I travel through Orange County community, I'm the closest candidate to the ground to see what actually is going on. In addition to that, I serve on several Orange County boards. These boards allow me to get an opportunity of the needs that's been requested from the community to provide resources to the residents in the community. So there's three things that makes me there. I'm the closest to the ground, I'm a native there, and serving on several Orange County boards, get an opportunity to see what the residents are asking for. My personal walk with God has impacted my life because I understand now that who holds my destiny. I understand now that I don't fear the fear that I used to fear. I understand now that my life is not based on someone else's life. And because of that, I can move forward. I used to have fear. I used to not have the confidence in who I am. But now I do have the confidence in who I am because I know my life is not built upon man. And so that has helped quite a bit.
And now for one of my favorite segments of the show, Motivating Factors. I've asked Patricia to share some kind words for you out there to help motivate you, to help you get going and discover your life work, or encourage you in the process of doing it. So we have something prepared for the students, the young adults, working professionals out there. Can't forget about you mothers. We know your work is not easy. For those of you doing it alone, she has some words just for you as well. But first, let's find out what her motivating factor is. Who's her role model? What gets her up in the morning and gets her going to take on the challenges and find significance every day?
My mother, who's a single mother, is my role model. She did much with little. She provided for 4 children. I didn't miss anything. I attended kindergarten. I recall I had a typewriter. I had all the clothes that I need. I had all the school supplies that I need. She participated in all my school activities, a band parent that I did not want on the bus with me. She went to all the PTA meetings. So my mother's a role model. She retired and she left here with a savings account, a house paid for, and she left here with no debt owing. And as a single parent, that speaks volume. So my mother is my role model. She showed me how to live a honest and successful life. Her favorite thing was that it's not so much how much money you make, but what you do with your money after you make it. I would say to that single mom is to do the best you can. And I'll also say to the single mom is to get around people that can mentor you. I was a single mom growing up, and I began to, at one point, to visit places where there was a household. My friend girl doesn't know this, but one of the reasons why I took trips to visit her and her husband, because I was a single mom, and I wanted my kids to see what it's like to have a household, a husband and wife around the household. And so, if as a single mom, get involved. If you have a son, have your son to get a mentor. I did that purposely. I sought out mentors for my son because I knew that I could not do it all by myself. But I would say, get yourself around other couples that you admire so that your kids can see how it is to live with the dual parent household. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Be true to yourself. Set goals. I always knew as a student in high school that I wanted to go to college. I did not end up going to college when I finished high school. It took me 20-some years later. But the key of it is to set goals and be true to yourself. Sometimes life does not seem fair, but that's okay. If you put in the hard work, you have patience, you will get the end results that you're looking for. Also, you need to learn how to give back to others. It's never really about yourself. Success comes to giving to others. I would say to the voters that I deserve your vote because one, I am connected to the community. I understand what the resident of District 2 needs. I understand their needs, I understand your expectation, and I understand the foundation upon which you have built your life upon. I will say to the voters that I'm the best candidate for this position because you need someone with proven public service experience. And I bring you 27 years of proven public service experience. So you need someone that is closest to the ground to you, and that's what this candidate brings to you.
Welcome to Apopka. Well, in this economy, job creation and employment is still one of the priority topics. And so recently I had a chance to attend one of the local forums where I heard Patricia Rumph talk about her views, one of them being redevelopment in District 2.
The question is asked about how do we improve the public transit in District 2, specifically the Apopka area. And as you remember, I said earlier that I'm a native of Orlando, so I have an invested interest of what goes on in Orlando. So my proposal is to understand that people is not so much care, the ridership of the buses, the buses, they're not so much care if the bus come on time, as long as there's more frequency. Because if the bus is late and they have to wait an hour for the next bus, that's the problem. But if they have more frequency of the bus route, then the bus could be a few minutes late and they don't have to wait a whole hour. So we need to increase the head time for that one bus that runs through Apopka, bus 106. That's the short-term solution.
Thank you. Our third question speaks to redevelopment. What are your views on redevelopment in District 2, specifically in the city or town of Edenville? And how would you maintain the integrity of its history, being one of the oldest black communities in the U.S.? We will start with Ms. Rumph.
You know, every town and every city has something that's unique about them. Orlando is Walt Disney World, or the tourist attraction. Apopka is the Apopka Art and Foliage Festival. Zellwood is the Zellwood Corn Festival. So every town has that uniqueness about them. But right now, there's only one grower in Zellwood that's still growing Zellwood corn. And we do not want that to happen to Edenville. So I understand the importance for redevelopment to keep the heritage of Edenville. I have 27 years of Florida Department of Correction experience. So I know firsthand the importance it is that when someone is released from incarceration, within that first 30 days, it's very important that they connect with housing, their family, and back into the community so we can reduce the recidivism rate. So that's the first thing. That's why it's important that we need housing. One of the questions was asked about housing. New York has adopted a program where public housing, where they're now allowing ex-offenders to move into public housing. That's a problem here. We need them in public housing, some type of housing situation, because one, we would eliminate homelessness. So we're fighting two battles, ex-offenders and homelessness. But back to New York, they have adopted a program where they're allowing ex-offenders to move in public housing, a few at a time. But whoever moves into this, they must follow a case management program so they can be monitored and understand how to successfully transition back into the community. The other thing I heard someone say is that hard work. They're not afraid of hard work. I deal with offenders every day, and they're desperate for work. Some of them work 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 jobs to try to make ends meet. So they're not afraid of hard work. The education system, we need to understand too, yes, there's a lot of black men incarcerated, but understand the first thing that is cut out in the prison system is programs. So we bring them in there uneducated, and we don't try to educate them before they leave. So they come back in the same situation where they left. I'm trying to be passionate with this thing because you touched a part of me that I deal with every day, and I deal and try to re-enter. I train ladies. As a probation officer, I still go to the jail on Thursday and teach life skills. I can lock them up, but they're coming back to be your neighbor and your church member, and we don't do anything with this re-entry program, they're going to continue to go back into the system.
What programs or youth programs do you have plans to provide to help our youth get involved and get focused in career opportunities, employment, and different things that would give them a safe haven to be in rather than being involved in crime and things of that sort?
It was asked, how do we reduce the recidivism rates for our juveniles? And there's mentoring programs. Evans High School about 2 months ago, and the local pastors and the local businesses about 2 months ago put on a huge block party for the Evans students. They had mentoring organizations, several different mentoring organizations there, signed up hundreds of youth to be a part of the mentoring program. So that's the key, to mentor. The Children's Home Society had a program that would allow you to mentor children of incarcerated parents. I volunteered with that. Matter of fact, the young girl that I mentored was out of Edenville. So there's an opportunity there. The other thing is, like I say, to promote mentoring program. Orange County Public Schools has a mentoring program. Take Stock in Children. I volunteered with that years ago. See, I've got a vested interest in this community. I'm a native. My entire life has been connected here. So that's why I input into the community the way that I do. You said the first step of a leader is showing up, and what am I record in voting? I've been voting since I was able to vote, I guess at the age of 18, back when they were, so I've been voting since that time. And as a leader, I do show up. When I moved into my new neighborhood 17 years ago, I showed up to be a part of the Homeowners Association. So I've been a part of my Homeowners Association since I've been in the neighborhood. Not only a part of, I serve on the board. I showed up. At 23 years old, I had my first mortgage. That's a leader. I paid that mortgage off and bought my second home. As a single mom with 3 kids, no bankruptcy, no judgments, that's a leader. I showed up. I serve on several Orange County Advisory Boards, Affordable Housing Board, Community Development Board, Children and Family Services Board, several boards, because I care about the community. I show up. For 27 years of Florida Department of Correction, I didn't last there by not showing up. I showed up for the last 27 years. So there's my leadership experience. I understand what's going on in the community. The question asked was, how would I work with other county commissioners on the board? Actually, I've met with several of them. I've sat down and talked with Mr. Fred Bromer, whose seat that we're all bidding for. I met with Scott Board. I met with Tiffany Moore. I met with Pete Clark. So I met with 4 out of the 6 county commissioners already. So they understand who I am, and I pretty much understand who they are. So we have that relationship. So that won't be a problem, I don't believe. And then, again, I'm Patricia Rumph. I'm your candidate for Orange County Commissioner, and I ask for your support on August the 26th.
You know, one of the things I love about Patricia is her involvement in the community, volunteering, mentoring. I hope to inspire some of you to do the same. Find out what's going on in your neighborhood, or perhaps you can start something, and go out there and make it happen. And remember to vote.
Well, I've known Patricia most of our lives. We've known each other for probably the past 57 or 58 years. And I think that I could speak on her quite well. Patricia and I grew up together in Murchison Terrace. We started out as little girls playing together, and I know her character probably better than anybody. She's a great mother, a great friend, and I think she would make a great politician. And the reason I say that is because Pat has always carried herself in a very graceful manner. She's a very dignified person. And the key to, I would say that the key to our friendship is integrity and respect. And those are very outstanding qualities that any friendship or any relationship requires to maintain. And that's what has helped us throughout the years. And I support her completely. I have nothing but faith in her because of her character and her outstanding ability. She and I were, even as young girls, we were both quote unquote smart and sort of kind of ousted by the community because we grew up in the projects. But we were always each other's cheerleaders from the time that we were little girls up into our adulthood, and we still are to this day. We always were there for each other. And whenever I was down, I could always call on her for that spiritual inner being because she was always there for me. And one thing I admired about Pat the most is her unselfishness. When I say this, I mean, I always admired the fact that she always gave back to the community. Even when I would call her sometimes, she was always busy. Well, she had to stop because she had to go do some community service work, or she had to go volunteer, or even if I saw her, I would be home visiting because I'm back in the area now after maybe 40 years. And I ran into her recently in a Walmart, and she was in there buying toys for the kids for Christmas. That's a part of Pat's makeup, and that's a part of Pat that I've always loved and admired. And it's always been inspirational to me, and I know it would be to others, because that's Pat, that's Patricia Rumph, that's who she is. So it's nothing fake about Pat. Pat is a true, loving, caring person that you would always want around you. And just to give you an example of what I mean, when I was sick, and I'll never forget this, and I never probably thanked her enough. Pat knew I was home with a husband and 2 boys. When I got sick and I had to go in the hospital, she called me and she asked me. She didn't ask me, do you want me to come and help you? She called me and she asked me, when do you need me, before the surgery or after the surgery? And that meant so much to me because she was letting me know she was coming anyway. It was when I needed her. And believe me, my family was glad that she came because she can cook and she can clean and she can iron. And Pat is just graceful. But not only that, Pat is very smart, Pat is very intellectual, and Pat can do the job. I'm quite confident of that.
Well, that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed all you've heard and seen. Until next time, peace. Hey, rent a P.O. box today. It is hot out here. When is this bus gonna come? Hey, I'm convinced there's good in you. You just have to find a way to get it out. Get up off the couch. Go use your gift, your talent. Do something in your city.
Just the way we want it. Living it like a kid. That's the way we want it.